Today I'm going to show you a project that you can make in class 11, a game that is a Tic Tac toe. In class 11 you can make any project, maybe it covering a list or a tuple or a dictionary or a string. So you can make a hangman game or you can make a quiz game. So this is a one Tic Tac toe game that you can use it in your project in class 11. Now, in this, how do when we manually play tic tac toe, how do we do it is we have 9 moves. So I have taken a list where I have inserted 9 objects in it, and this is filled right now with an hyphen, which means these are empty places where kata and zero can be placed. Now I have made a function, an infinite loop while true, so that it keeps on playing. Now, what are the function in the while true, which is an infinite loop, is going to do is here the player is going to get a chance to take its move. Now I have taken a global variable which is a player and the symbol of that player. So I have started with the player 1. So player is given a value as 1 and symbol to the player 1 is kata. Now in the player move, I have defined a function def, which is a player move. Now in the player move, what am I going to do is I'm going to place that symbol at the location where the user has picked. Now again I took a while true infinite loop, and what is this loop doing is doing two things. One, it is checking whether it is a valid location which user has picked. So if my locations are 9 locations from 1 to 9, then user should not say I want to fill the 10th location or -1 or anything like that. So if after choosing the location, if the choice is not within the range from 1 to 9, it will go to else, and it will break out of the it will go to the else and say print enter again, it's not a valid location, because this is the else of this if this is not true, it will go to else and say it is not a valid location and enter again, and it will again ask, go in the while true loop, take another location and check. Now if it is a valid location, it will enter inside. Now I have another if else under the if. Now what is this if else doing is checking if that is a valid location, okay, but has it been already filled or occupied by somebody, or is it empty? And if it is not empty, then I am saying it is already occupied this location. So you will have to pick another location. So it will again go in the while true loop and will ask the user to pick another location. But if it is a valid location and it is also empty, the control will go to else and it will break out of the while true loop. Infinite loop say it is breaking out because it's a valid location and it is an empty location. Now the symbol was kata and the kata cross has been put at a valid location. Why have I done -1? Because if the location is 1, that is at the index number 0. So I am deducting -1 to make it the indexing from 0. Now after the symbol has been inserted at a particular place in the list, I am going to display the board. So after displaying the board, then the control comes back here. Now player has taken the move and has played. Now after playing, I have made one other function which is called check win, which is checking whether a player has won the game or not. Now what is this check win? Let's go take the control to check win. Now in the tic-tac-toe game, you know that you have to check the diagonals, you have to check all the rows, and you have to check all the columns. Now these are the index places for the diagonal. If it is having total 1 to 9 locations, the indexes will be from 0 to 8. So this is for the left diagonal, this is for the left diagonal all the indexes, and this is for the right diagonal all the indexes. And if these all the indexes match with a particular symbol, then return true. Returning true means that the player has won the game. Or if all the rows are equal to a particular symbol, the row 1, the row 2, the row 3, the column 1, the column 2, and the column 3, if they are all equal to that symbol, then in that case return true. That means the player has won the game. But if none of the above things are true, the control will automatically go to else and say return false. So when it will come back here in the check win, the check win will either be true or false. Now, if it is true, it will enter inside the if and say the player, whichever is the current player, player 1 or player 2, it will say the player has won. With the string format operator, I have shown the output. And then I again need to break out of this infinite loop because I need not go further. But if the win check has returned me false, that means it has returned me false, the control will automatically go to else and will say this is not a win situation. Then is it a draw or not? Now, I cannot say a draw situation till all the locations are filled in the tic-tac-toe. So with the not in membership operator, I am checking if anywhere this symbol is left in the list, then it is not a draw. That means still the player has to take their moves. But if this is not left in the list, that means all the places are filled, then it should say it's a draw. And again, even if it is a draw or a winning situation, it has to break and come out of the while true loop. But if this is neither a win situation nor it's a draw, that means there are still some empty places left in the list. It will again then go to the function called as change player. Now here the player was player 1. So now I'm going to make a function change player where the player will become 2 and the symbol of the player will also change. So let's see the definition of change player. Here I have declared the word global in the front of the player and the symbol so that any change the function change player will make will get reflected here also. So that is why I have used the word global keyword. So if player is 1, then make the player as 2 and change the symbol. But else if the player is 2, then make the player as 1 and make the symbol as cross, the kata. So if it is 1, make it 2, and if it is 2, make it 1 and change the symbol also accordingly. Now the change player has again changed the player. Let's come back here. Now according to this, it will go back again in the while true loop and ask the second player to take its move. Now again the same process is going to take place and the player is going to take its move and will choose the location from 1 to 9. If it is not an empty location, then it will display a message. If it is not a valid location, then also it will display a message. But if it is an empty and a valid location, the symbol will be filled at that particular place and the display board will be displayed. So I am displaying all the values of the list, 3 values at a time in a line. So this is how the things will show. Now let me run this and show it to you by executing all these one by one. So now let me run this for you. Now it has shown the display board, the empty. As you can see, this is the display board being shown. Now in the while true loop it has entered and it is player move function which is executed. So I will take the move from at a 2 location. So at 2 the player is 1 and the symbol for the player 1 is kata. Now the change player has taken place and now it has become player 2 and the symbol for the player 2 is 0. So now if I check a valid location, then 0 will be put at that particular location. So again it is going in the while true loop and it is asking me to take the move. Now let me show you that I insert a location which is not in the valid location. So it is going in that function and saying it is not a valid location. So enter it again. So it will not allow me to proceed further till I enter a valid location. So now this time let me enter a valid location. So at the fourth place, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is fourth place, the kata has come. Now let me show you that now it is the turn for 0 O to be played, and I select the location as 3. So it should display me a message that 3 has been already filled. So it is showing me it's already occupied. Pick another location. Let me take it as 6. Okay, now it is the turn for cross. So I'll say location is 7. Now it is the turn for kata 0 to take. Now I will say the location is 9. Now can you see the columns will be all filled with the same symbol O O O. So now it should say that O symbol was of player 2 and player 2 has 1. So I'm going to show you and run it again by showing you that how it will show you a draw situation. 3, let me play it for you. Then 5, and then 6, and then 7, then 8. Okay, then still more, 0 has to go. 9, 0, still one more. This is 4 for kata. Now as you can see that none of the player 1 or player 2 has won, so it is showing it's a draw. So this is all you can make in the game Tic Tac Toe. You can even give a graphical interface by using a Tic Inter.